Let's go, folks. Time for the Gibby Show.
How you doing, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of the Gibby Show. We are back after a one-week small hiatus. We are here to talk about the game we all love, Major League Baseball, the moves of the Toronto Blue Jays, some of the things that are coming up in baseball. It's going to be a very busy week. We are here once again, as always, with the man from San Antonio, Texas, the former two-time manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, the upcoming author. I guess you're the outdoorsman as well.
Yes.
It's Mr. John Gibbons. John, how you doing? Happy belated Thanksgiving.
Johnny, hey, good to see you, pal. No, I'm doing great. But you know what? You keep saying from San Antonio. I might be changing that address soon. I may be moving out west, man, with the Buffalo.
You're going to
we love it out there.
You're going to live in Yellowstone?
Yellowstone. We're outside, man. They got these small little towns, and it's unbelievable, you know. Kind of getting that age, a little less stress.
Yeah.
You know?
But then obviously you got home in time for Thanksgiving. Was it the traditional Thanksgiving fare? Your family members. Tell us a little bit about your Thanksgiving holiday.
Oh, I love it. I think that's my favorite holiday, and we killed some turkey, man, and we had it out of my brother and my brother's house, and it was my brother and his family and my mom, and it was really, really good time, you know. Important times, you know. It's good to always unite them families, like, you know, just like you did back in New York, you know. But we didn't eat pasta, man. Did you guys have pasta? We don't eat pasta. For
Thanksgiving. There's always a. And here's the thing with my sister. Okay, we get invited out by a lifelong friend, with a bunch of people we hadn't seen in a while. So we're there with about 15 people. But my sister has this thing in her because we've always had lasagna. That was kind of a tradition. You have the lasagna first, and then you eat your turkey. So we go out to eat, and my sister feels like I cook every year. So she goes and makes another Thanksgiving dinner on Friday. She buys the turkey, the lasagna, the stuffing, and all of that. So, and then, of course, you have all the leftovers. So, I mean, for the last 4 days, it's been nothing but eating here in New York. And,
love it. Oh, that's unusual.
I'm telling you, like, I am stuffed like a turkey right now. And we were supposed to have a special guest. Your mom, Sally, was supposed to join us, and I guess why don't you tell us why you probably pissed her off or something over Thanksgiving, and she decided not to make the appearance here? What happened?
Well, first off, she's 85. She's a sweetheart. Yeah. She's got it all together still, and she might rock the world here when she gets on the show. You know, but anyway, she's got trouble hearing. She's I need to go get a new hearing aid, John. I can't get on there and be going what, and then plus she was losing her voice from screaming at me all day long on Thanksgiving.
What did you do?
No, it's what I didn't do. I think you know. Hey, my mother, what a sweetheart. But she lets you know what's going on. And last but not least, she goes, when I mentioned to her the other day, she goes, well, that's such short notice. You know, maybe let's do it in January, and I can make sure I get my hair fixed. I said, Mom, your hair looks like mine. Don't worry about it. So anyway, we'll get her on here again.
A future appearance by Sally. And today's show, we're also going to take a look at those big moves the Blue Jays made, major trade, also some of the bigger free agent names Blue Jays are looking at. We're going to kind of take you inside the baseball winter meetings by talking about John's involvement with them in the past. And our Gabbing with Gibby segment is going to be a huge one today, John. We bring on one of the premier young players in all of Major League Baseball, the star shortstop for the Toronto Blue Jays, Bo Bichette. And we have, of course, the Ask Gibby segment brought to you by Budweiser. The fans who ask questions that we answer here on the show will receive a gift package from Budweiser because that's what buds do. But first, let's go to the leadoff. We got some big stuff to discuss here today. Blue Jays, first and foremost, they strengthened their bullpen, freed up payroll, and created some space to transform their righty-dominated lineup by trading slugger Teoscar Hernández to the Seattle Mariners for right-handed reliever Eric Swanson and a lefty prospect named Adam Macko. And this was a trade that did it get you by surprise with them trading Hernandez for increased strength in the bullpen, the back end of the bullpen?
You know, Johnny, no. Actually, Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Teo's, he's close to free agency. He's making a
Yeah,
lot of
next
money
year.
now. Yeah, and I mean, the amount of money these guys going to make at a certain point in their career, dictates a lot of whether they keep some guys or not. Because there's certain guys, you know, Vladdy Jr. and Bo Bichette who we're talking about with today. They're going to come where they need to be paid. So, there's certain guys that stay and certain guys that go, and I think it's also a good move because it really helps their bullpen. you know, uh, you know, that's key. You look at the Houston Astros that won it all. When they got to their bullpen, lights out, forget it. You're not
Yeah.
doing anything against them
Yeah,
pretty much.
Swanson
So,
is really good. I mean, he's 29 years old. He was in 57 games this season. He had a 1.68 ERA. He
oh
struck out
yeah,
70. He only gave up 3 home runs. He only allowed 10 walks. And he really does solidify that back end as a really good setup guy for Romano.
yeah, and you got to keep adding. You got to keep strengthening the bullpen because the thing about bullpens when they're good and like even like Romano and in that group down there during a good year, they're getting used a lot, right? Especially today's game where the starters are limited what they allow them to do. Bullpen gets really abused, right? So from year to year, you never know what to expect out of these guys because they throw a lot of innings. They come back the next year, it may not be the same guy. So it's cyclical. It's almost like
Hmm.
every other year is when they're really really good. Some of them, unless you're the closers, let's say. So you got to keep adding to it. And I think they got him a good one. Sure looks like it,
Yeah.
but you got to give up something good if you're going to pick up Teoscar because
Yeah, true.
Teo. Yeah, I was there when they traded for him, right? And he, great kid, but he was you could see he had the easiest power any player I'd ever seen in my life, right? I mean, the
Hmm.
ball would just jump off his bat, so you knew he had that potential, but he was prone to the strikeout then, and he was a liability on defense, and there's no doubt about it. But he worked his butt off to become pretty solid. Now I watch these highlights now, and he's sliding all over the park and all that. So it's good to see it. He's one of the best individuals you'll ever meet. So I tip my hat to him, but he's going to make a lot of money.
He's going to make
Good
a
for
lot of
him, though.
money. That could be another reason why, obviously, entering free agency at the end of 2023. And he was due quite a bit of money. So when you look at this and you look at the non-tendering of Tapia, those two that money combined was over 20 million, and then Swanson, the new guy, is only going to get projected 1.4 million. So that kind of gives Ross Atkins 19 million more to play with.
Is that it? 19? That's
19 million. And I mean, and now the Jays outfield is sparse. There's got to be some moves. And I wanted to get your take on some of these top free agents that are now being courted, rumored to be having discussions with the Jays. And the one that really stood out to me over the last week and a half has been Brandon Nimmo, 29-year-old center fielder for the Mets, spent his entire 7-year career with the Mets, had the best season of his career in 2022, finally was healthy, played the entire season, and hit 274, career high 16 home runs, 64 RBIs, 102 runs scored, and he was the Mets leadoff hitter, and he was spectacular in center field this year. So that one on top of the list, and the money now that's being talked about for Nimmo. The Mets were, you project a guy getting maybe 20 million a year over 5 years, but now you hear reports that it could be 130, 140 million dollars for a guy like Nimmo. So he's probably at the top of the list of who they're going to court, whether or not he wants to play in Toronto or what the deal is. He's being courted by everybody. He's the best outfielder in the entire free agent class, other than Aaron Judge. And everyone knows Aaron probably go to either the Yankees or San Francisco. So Nimmo is a possibility. Cody Bellinger is a possibility. What a superstar he was, and then he had the shoulder injuries, the shoulder surgery, bad year, non-tendered by the Giants, the Dodgers rather. And Michael Brantley was also brought up, and also Michael Conforto, who hadn't played last year, when he rejected the Mets qualifying offer. So he's out there looking to get back. He had a shoulder injury as well. So out of these names, John, who's a good fit for the Blue Jays? And is there a name on the list that we haven't brought up that you might see as a better fit for an outfielder for the Blue Jays?
Well, all right, we'll eliminate Judge, right? He's gone, no chance, right?
Judges.
Judge got right. Nemo. No, they're all good, right? And Nemo's like the hottest guy I think right now. The key there you told me, the run scored. That guy up top of the line, you got to score runs, right? And he's in the driver's seat, so that's why you see that value going right through the roof. He's got the leverage. He would be ideal, I think. And then you might move Springer off, to one of the corner spots, or take Teo's place or whatever, or DH. Keep him healthy. That's very important. But I tell you, one of my favorite players in the game is Michael Brantley. He's getting a little older.
35 years old.
His dad was one of my coaches. We're good friends, and Michael used to hang around. He was a little guy, right? Just a great hitter everywhere. From his days in Cleveland to Houston. But he's been injury prone a little bit lately. But if you want a good hitter to stick in that lineup, and I know they're looking for some lefties, he's the best hitter of the group. There's no doubt about it if you keep him on the field. So I'm a little biased towards him because he's been there, done it, but he is getting a little older. Nemo's probably the guy, but whether, you talk about you got X amount of money to spend, is he going to exceed that?
Brantley is projected for like a 1-year deal at maybe $16 million, where Nemo's going to command 5 to 7 years minimum. And Scott Boras is his agent. So that Scott's going to get the most money for his client.
Well, one thing in Toronto now, it used to be our teams when I was there never had any Boras players because he was so hard to deal with the free, in the prices.
Same with the Mets.
Yeah, but now with Shapiro and him, he's got a good relationship with him, or a different kind of relationship. That doesn't bother them one bit. But yeah, the length of the contract does matter there, and but it'd be interesting. But once again, you hear every team's you hear this team interested in this team, everybody's interested in this player, blah, blah, right, long list. I can tell you halftime that's crap. That's wishful thinking. But I think everybody says that to get their fans going woo woo. But you know what? Theoretically, they know there's certain guys they can't get. So
Yeah. And there's been relatively few free agent signings. I mean, everyone's waiting for the big dominoes to fall. I think when you're looking at where's Aaron Judge going to go, where's Verlander going to go, where's Rodon going to go, or Jacob deGrom, it seems to be like everything's moving at a snail's pace. But then the winter meetings hit, which is next week, at the end of this week, rather, in San Diego. So maybe things will start to pop. I think once those big dominoes start to fall, then traditionally every year, that's when then there's a flurry of signings. You obviously being in the game for as long as you have, everyone hears about the winter meetings, how hectic it is, and how great it is where everyone is together. There are trades being made and discussed and signings. How many of these did you attend? Walk us through as kind of a layman and the fans out there. What does a manager do at the baseball winter meetings? And what was your experience like at the baseball winter meetings in your career?
Gosh, John, I loved it. It's a good time. Heck, I went to 10 of them as a manager, and I went to a couple with Kansas City as a bench coach. That just shows you Kansas City, they value the pension of a lot of their coaches, But what we do is it's a good time because all the teams are there, so you get a chance to see old friends, and because that's the way the game is now. But you show up on that first day. Every team has a big suite where the general manager's room is, in every day you meet in there, right, with his top scouts. I mean, it all depends. Every team's different how many guys they take. Less guys go now because analytics is taking over the game there, so you don't need as many scouts, or they don't want that kind of opinion as much. And so you get together every day, and I can remember we'd have like a chalkboard, and there'd be names on the list that our team is interested in, and you go over and you discuss those players, and the GM will kind of, and his lieutenants will kind of give you an idea. Well, we talk to his agent, blah 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 blah, right? Or some guy, they might say, off the board, we got no shot, that kind of thing. So you go over that, and then the GM might say, okay, I'm meeting so-and-so. I can remember one time, let's say Gary. No, it might have been, who was it? we signed a player, and his agent was Gary Sheffield. Sheffield was done playing, so Sheffield's coming by to talk, and we're going to talk to him. He's going to talk about his player, and this was also a different player. The agent will come in. The player's usually not with him. You know who was it? It was Jason Grilli. I think Sheffield was Grilli's.
Really?
I think it was awesome. But so the agent will come in. They just everybody kind of sits around the room and they ask questions. It's a lot of small talk. The agent might say, hey, whoever the manager is, hey, Gibbons, how do you see this guy? Blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, kind of a stupid question, because if we sign him for the amount of money you're talking, he's going to be in a pretty good position. He's going to play every day, blah blah. So, but it's kind of it's just kind of a feeling out process, and then they'll leave, and then you go back to talking about trades or what you might be able to. They send the scouts out and all the people down to the lobby throughout the whole day, right? And they just get together and they talk different teams, and they'll start to drum up some possible trades, right? And then they'll come back and bring it to, let's say it's Anthopoulos or JP or Ross. They'll bring it to them and say, all right, this team may be willing to do this. So now, okay, then the GM will call their GM. That's kind of how things start. It's kind of, for such a billion dollar industry, there's some really simple things, the way things are done. It's kind of cool. But then as far as the manager goes, I know I'm getting long-winded here, but he'll have his day set up on a certain day. He's got to go do some radio interviews or promotional stuff for the team and what have you. Then you might have a Major League Baseball meeting with all the managers and the Major League Baseball and the umpires, and they'll get there over rule changes or something like that. And then finally on the last day, they have a big lunch and you go into this huge room and there's 30 teams there, and the manager sits down at the table with all his media from his town. So I'd sit down at the table with all the people from the Star, Sun, you name it, Globe and Mail. You have lunch, and then you get out of it. The managers take a group picture, and adios, head home, and go, phew, thank God. But it's nice for a couple of days, but then it does get a little old. But the best part about it reunites you with a lot of old friends,
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a party. I've gone to, I think, 3 of them. I think I ran into
That's
you
right.
in Nashville when the winter meetings were there. You and
That's
I.
right.
And I was just there, and
small world.
It was in Nashville, and I went, and then I saw you, getting your coat from the coat check or whatever it was, or your car from valet, and I hadn't seen you for a while, so that was kind of cool. But I'd gotten hired by the Mets in 1981. I went to the baseball winter meetings in Dallas. And that's where the Mets hired me to go to Shelby. Was there when I met Jack Farnsworth. But one of my coolest memories, and this is not anything related to business, but I was so happy I got the job with the Mets, hanging out in the bar, and mosey up to the bar. And who's next to me? Billy Martin and Mickey Mantle.
Oh,
amazing, right? I'm like,
yeah.
I was blown away. And I'm there with a friend, and then it was kind of like late, so it was like last call, and Billy had a few, looked like. And so we're getting ready to walk out, and here he is. I just said hello to him, introduced myself, and he puts his arm around me, and he walks out of the bar with me with Mantle on the other side, and I'm like, am I in heaven? I mean, what's going on here?
Yes, you are.
And then it was like I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and we had some of the Braves executives had a suite, and we were invited up there. And who's sitting in the room? Henry Aaron, having a beer.
Dang.
And I'm like, this is baseball. This is kind of very cool.
That is baseball.
That was Mickey Mantle, Billy Martin, Henry Aaron, and then, of course, meeting John Gibbons several years later.
Boy, you're going backwards.
But cool stuff. I can't wait to talk about the winter meetings and what's going to happen, and we'll be covering that pretty extensively here. So we look forward to that. So that was what's going on in the leadoff, and now it's time for another Gabbing with Gibby.
Let's gab.
And now it's time for another Gabbing with Gibby segment, and John has done it again. This week, we welcome the starting shortstop for the Toronto Blue Jays and one of the premier infielders and premier stars in all of Major League Baseball, Mr. Bo Bichette. Bo, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, guys. How you doing?
Great to have you.
Yep. Hey, you look good, man. You know what? Hey, I was mentioning to you earlier, it's unbelievable. You guys... Because when I talked to you about getting on the show, we had to line up the time because you guys are working out. I'm going, working out, for crying out loud. It's not even January yet. But that's what you guys do. At least that's what you really good ones do. now, I mean, it's like how much do you take some time off after the season, or you just so ingrained, you're such a habit now, and it's so, it's so productive what you're how you're playing. You just pick it up right. There's really no dead time, is there?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think it's important to pay attention to how your body feels and how your mind feels too. So yeah, I mean, you take some time off, but at the same time, you want to take advantage of the 4 months we have off. So as soon as you feel ready, then I like to get after it.
Yeah, well, I can tell you're doing something right. I was checking out your numbers. I knew what they were, but I was checking for a young player in the game. What do you get? You would have been in there about a couple of years, 2.5 years, maybe.
I mean, I've been around for 4 now, but I would say
Kind of
2.
full steady
Yeah.
time. Yeah, steady time. I tell you, you've got some incredible numbers for a new player. It's just come onto the scene in baseball. Usually, I'm talking about guys at extreme talent to go on to have great careers. They get out. Some of them get off the so-so starts, and eventually it all comes together. You from day one, everything. I mean, you were a big time performer in this game, and that's not easy to do. You come from a baseball family, and that's no guarantee either. That's not easy to do either. Your dad was a great player, and there's added pressures and things like that. But I don't think people necessarily realize just how good you've been at the beginning of your major league career.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of getting off the start I've gotten off to is for sure my dad. I've been just kind of taught what I'm going to go through since I was a young kid, taught to just go out there and compete no matter how you feel. And, I'm definitely still learning. There's a lot more room to grow for sure on every part of the ball, base run and defense hitting. So, I just look forward to continue to learn.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better hitting, more productive offensive shortstop in the game of baseball. I mean, not even close, man. I was looking. I'm not just a huge fan of yours. We had Manoa on here. We had Romano. I keep saying I want to be somebody's agent. And nobody's taking me up on it yet. Do you need an agent yet, brother? I'm ready to be your agent, man. No, but it's
might be a pretty good one though. I'll tell you that.
Hey, Bo, I mean, didn't you, when you broke in, didn't you like break Ted Williams' record for most consecutive games hitting a double? And, it wasn't 11, 12 consecutive games right out of the box that you just, and the last one that did that was Ted Williams in 1939.
Yeah, I think it started in my second game. It was I can't remember how many games in a row it was, but it was a certain amount of games with doubles. So yeah, like for me, like I like to just kind of stay in the present and look forward, but that one was big for me because I basically learned hitting from Ted Williams. I mean, that's who my dad's hero was, the science of hitting. So like my dad taught me a lot based off of that. So when I start hearing my name around Ted Williams, like that was something I was like, okay, all right, I did something here.
Yeah. Hey, I bought that book, man. I read that book about 10 times and I hit about $1.80. So there's more to it than that. But I tell you, when you start getting mentioned with guys like Ted Williams, huh, Johnny? That's
amazing. Yeah. I mean, what an accomplishment just breaking into the game. I mean, that was a record that stood since 1939. I mean, and Ted Williams, of course, it just showed everybody out there, that you came in and you just made an impact, and you're still making an impact to this day. It's incredible what you've accomplished in just a short period of time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, do you remember what year was it? It might have been 18. Might have been my last year. We'd bring you guys over to spring training. At the end of spring training, play some games. I think it was 18. Was that your first year you came over there? Do you remember?
It would have been 18, yeah.
Yeah, I think we brought you and Vladdy Jr. over. And Beige, I don't know if Beige came. Anyway, it was like it wasn't your typical game where you put your young guys in like the last couple innings. You guys started the game. I think we were down there in Pittsburgh. You might have hit a home run that night, but I'm thinking because I knew it was my last year. I was on my way out there. That was just kind of everybody knew that was coming. And I can remember sitting there going, damn, man, I need to try to figure out, we better win some games this year. Maybe I can somehow hang around a little bit longer. Look at these guys that are getting to the big leagues, man. I'm saying I'm going to miss out, because we had a couple good years in 15 and 16, and then we just, it was a breakdown to overhaul the team and rebuild, and they were kind of grooming it for all you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going, hey, it's going to be a special group. It might take a couple of years, which you did, but it's a good group. When I watch you guys play, there's something, there's something special about your group. You get along. I think a lot of it has to do, a lot of you came up in the minor leagues together, so you know each other. You won down there. But describe your team a little bit, because it's not all teams are like that. You know how that is, but there's something unique about this group. I think that's a feel I get.
Yeah, no, I mean, we definitely get along. When you come to the minor leagues together, you really go through the grind together. So you see a lot of ups and downs from each other, individually as a team also, but personal stuff, everything. So, I mean, you just kind of get to know each other. You've seen the lows, you've seen the highs, and I think that just obviously in any relationship that makes everybody closer. And, we have so much work to do still, so much to learn, just like I said for myself. But yeah, I mean, I like where we're heading, and I think that what we've gone through, I mean, we didn't really play together in 19 much. 20 was obviously a weird year, and kind of feel like last year was our first year and then this year our second, and we've continued to grow. And I think now the kind of days of being the young kids are over, and it's time to figure it out. But yeah, I mean, I love being around those guys every day. They make it easy to come in the field for sure.
And when you're still a young kid, you can't take that away. I mean, you might be playing another 15, 20 years. You don't know. But that's what's so impressive about this group, the experience level and what you guys have accomplished at a young age. That's not easy to do. And it's definitely not easy to do in the American League East. Still the toughest division in baseball. I don't care whether at the end when somebody wins a World Series, they're from the East or not. To run that gauntlet for 162 games, the other divisions just can't compare. They can't do it,
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I think Boston had a down year, but going into Fenway is not easy. All those places are tough to play, and best player in the division, I think. And so yeah, it's definitely a grind.
Hey, John, a question for you.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. A question for you. I mean, because you were talking about back when you first got a chance to see Bo play, and you were on your way out, as you said, and Bo was coming up and coming. Did you see that it factor, that special quality, that talent when you first observed Bo playing? And Bo, I'd like to get a question for you on your first experiences with John, and obviously his credentials as a manager back in the day. So kind of tell us, what that relationship was like, even though it couldn't have been that deep. It certainly exists today. So, John, you first, and then Bo, your opinions of John back then.
Well, you know what? We brought Bo over there in that spring training. You hear about when you're the manager at the big league level. I mean, you're in tune what's going on at the different levels, and when a certain player gets drafted or signed as a free agent or something like that. And the organization is really, really likes him, really high on him, and they're playing well. They're always coming around telling you how good this guy's doing. So I knew all about Bo, and so I'd kind of keep an eye on him and Vladdy Jr. and all that whole group, because you're the manager and you're looking down the road a little bit too, right? And so I'd always heard what a good player he was. He's got, he's extremely talented, but everybody always would say, he's got something different about him, and every player in the major league doesn't have that. There's guys that are just, the elite players. They have something different about them, and he had that. And a big part of it is confidence. There's no doubt about it. He's got a ton of talent, but everybody in the big leagues got a talent. Everybody in the minor leagues has talent. There's guys that throw harder in the minor leagues, never get to the big leagues. There's guys that, there's something different about big league players and great big league players. And there's a lot of it's up here. A lot of it's right there inside. And you can tell Bo had it just by the way he carried himself. Now, he grew up around the game with his father, but that's, like I said, that's no guarantee. So he kind of knew what to expect, but still it brings added pressure too. It's not like, well, my dad was a great player, so it's going to be easy for me. No, because he's carrying the weight of his father, just like Vladdy Jr. and Biggio and some of the other guys in the league. And that's never easy, but you could tell, this kid's different. this kid's going to make it. Did I realize he was going to be this good so fast? No, I don't think anybody can tell you that and be truthful. But they knew eventually he was, and they knew he was good. But he just carried himself different, and he was a pleasure. You could tell just to listen to how humble he is. But crying out loud, would you start bragging about yourself a little bit?
Yeah. For me with Gibby, obviously, like you said, it wasn't that much, but I do remember one thing pretty vividly. I played, so the home run he's talking about was my second spring training game. The first one he didn't start me, but
that's
no.
Hey, that's why I got fired, man. I wasn't very smart. There it is.
No, I get it. But no, I capped the ball to the pitcher. And obviously, I mean, I prided myself playing hard, but of course, my first spring training game, I'm gonna run as hard as I can, no matter what I hit, So hit a little cap to the pitcher, and I took off, went to first base, and I get it, it's baseball. I'm not gonna hit a homer every time, but I wanted to hit a homer, and so I'm coming back to the dugout, and I'm kind of mad, and Gibby just told me, "Hey, man, way to run," and I was like, "Oh, okay, okay, I did something, and it's not all about the performance and the result, is someone saw something, and I appreciated that."
Like Pete Rose, man. Remember Pete, the all-time hit king. He busted his butt down there. Now, hey, you got to protect yourself a little bit too. I hope you're not hitting tappers in the mound and running your hardest time to first, because and there's certain people play harder than others, but you got to be smart too now.
Yeah, I've learned that. I do my best to run as hard as I can every time, and
I'm teasing you.
No,
I know you
no.
do.
I mean, yeah, I do it, but like playing 159 games 2 years in a row, it's like at the end of it, there's sometimes you can pace yourself a little bit for sure.
Hey, that's another. That brings up a good point, right? You played 152, and there's 160. It used to be a badge of honor. I mean, you can ask your dad to try to play 162 games, right? Very few did it. I mean, things come up, the nagging injuries or whatever. But I don't understand nowadays. Some teams give like scheduled days off and things like that. And I get it, the body needs that. But I used to have a deal like with some of the, especially the veteran players, or you're younger, you don't need the days off, you don't want days off, and people are coming to watch you play. But even with the older veteran players, let's say, hey, listen, if you're banged up, you need a break, stick your head in the office and hey, I could use a day or something like that. Or the trainers would come to you. But now it's like teams like scheduling. I'm going, well, this guy may be on a roll, man. He may be on like a hitting streak. You give him a day off because you screw up his streak, man. He starts thinking about it. He loses that mojo, whatever it is. It's like, I don't understand it, and but you obviously they leave you off that chart because you play 159 and you score runs, you hit doubles, home run. It's what's the deal, man? They overlooking you, not giving you days off, or what?
I just haven't given him a chance.
I
mean, that's just how I was raised, and I think it still is a badge of honor.
Yeah,
I think it's important. I always looked at it like, man, I'm struggling right now. I could take a day off, or I could just grind through it and probably learn something. So that's how I look at it, is the more games I play. Someone told me in the minor leagues, actually a teammate, Max Pentecost, actually. Yeah, it was my first time playing every day in Double-A. And I was like, man, I need a day. I was struggling. And he was like, no, you don't need a day. The more at bats you get, the quicker you get out of it. And I was like, you know what? Like that is so true. I'm take that to heart, and I've always taken that since.
Hey, well, Max had the injury bug. Remember?
Yeah, the guy could hit.
Poor guy. Could rake. So it was easy for him to say, "Hey, dude, don't take a day off, man. I've been getting all these damn days off because I'm trying to get on the field." But you're right. It's a mindset. You can gear yourself up for that. Plus, Bo, when you're an elite player, fans pay to actually come watch you play. They come on. Vladdy, the star players. When I'm a kid, I used to tell my dad if he would take me to a game, I said, I want to go watch. I lived down in Houston. I like what Joe Morgan was playing. And some of those guys, Jimmy Wynn. That's who I want to go see, and that's what they do. So you kind of owe it to them a little bit, but you got to be smart as well.
Yeah, I mean, but you're either injured or you're hurt. There's difference, right? So I don't know. I look at it like if I can go out there, I can play, I can do it. no matter if I'm struggling or not, I'll go out there and, if you believe in yourself, you believe that you got a chance to help the team win that day, no matter what. If it's could be 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs, and the baseball world might look at it like it's a bad day, but driving 2 runs and help the team win, that's what it's about.
Exactly. Damn, man. Hey, your dad, man. Your dad got to you, man. I love it.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Hey,
Oh,
Bo, were you named after Bo Jackson and Joe Girardi?
I
Was that
was, middle name Joseph, and obviously first name Bo, but yep.
really? How Girardi? Your dad were they teammates? Your dad and him or something?
Yeah, they played together in Colorado. They became really good
Ah.
friends. And, I mean, I think there's stories of me crying at night and Joe taking me out for a ride, give my mom a break. But yeah.
I'll be darned, man. That is so cool. And Bo Jackson, yeah.
Oh yeah, my dad's favorite athlete. So
Okay.
he actually sent me a pair of shoes this year, which is pretty cool.
Hey, you know what? That is pretty cool. Yeah. Hey, were you a big tennis Johnny? Were you saying he's a big tennis player? Were you a big tennis player too, or something?
Yeah. From what I've been reading up about you, you are a tennis enthusiast, and there was also some talk that if you didn't get into baseball, that you'd want to be a tennis player. You were going to be a tennis player, and you still follow tennis pretty closely.
Oh yeah. I would say my favorite athlete is Rafa Nadal. Love watching him compete, and hopefully his career's not over too soon. That would be sad. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, for me, I played growing up. My dad wanted me to play tennis. He didn't want me to play baseball. But when it kind of came down to it, my parents looked at me as like, hey, if you want to be the best at something, it was around high school. I think you need to dedicate, your time to one of the two. And I decided that I didn't want to be at the tennis court running around for 5 hours, and I'd rather go to the cage. So that's how I
Well, you could if you become big time, somebody would pick up the balls for you, man. That dude run across the court and grab the ball.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you though, when Nadal was your guy, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
before you served, were you like you didn't pick at your butt after before each time you threw the ball up, did you?
No, but I have I mean yeah, but if you watch me hit, like I'll do the same thing every time, and I learned a lot of that from him, just like watching, like he would always do the thing with his hair, and I do that with my and I do it unconsciously, obviously, but yeah, I think a lot of that kind of stuff comes from him.
Hey, there's something to that. I guarantee. If you're doing it, he's doing it. There's something. Johnny, we got to do something for the show. Like, was there like something we could before each? Well,
Yeah.
okay, with the hair, man. Where'd the hair go? Is the hair?
The
This, I
hair.
don't. I don't see
Hair.
any hair.
There,
Yeah.
there's
Crying
uh,
out.
there's so many stories about. I mean, it's kind of like your hair is legend out there. And was it you that said that you used a horse shampoo and conditioner? Or was that
I went through
Really?
I went through a little phase where I went to CVS just because I still don't take care of my hair. It's just kind of there. So but I went through a phase where I went to CVS and I saw horse shampoo, and I was like, they got good hair. So
Oh.
I
it was
started
called mane and tail shampoo and
yeah,
conditioner?
I was using that a couple of years ago just because I saw it, and I happened to give an interview right when I was in the middle of that. But now I don't know, I just kind of use whatever.
You must. Hey, did you get like 5 hits the next night or that night and go? Oh, they're hey, great hitters or something about everybody has their superstitions and they're compulsive and things like that. If you go out and have a big night and you wash your hair with horse soap or whatever, I guarantee you've been using it ever since. If you're smart.
Yeah, actually, like for me with I guess my superstition is not having superstitions. So yeah, like if I go up there with if I do something before an at bat, like, and I get a hit, I'll make sure that I don't do it again. So
Really?
yeah, because I just
Ah.
don't like getting caught up in anything I feel like I need to do well. I just trust in myself.
Well, here's the deal, though. You're conscious of what you did to tell yourself you're not to do it.
No, I
So
know that's my
so it
that's my
isn't.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, that is fun. That's awesome. You know what? You know what? Okay, well, we got to get you a contract or help them get a promotion thing for
Endorsement.
right with that shampoo or like go all the way to CVS, even bigger, man.
Yeah, it's
They
pretty
got
big.
CVS in Canada. I don't know if they have CVS in Canada. Maybe not. That is, oh man.
Like a Walgreens. I had a quick question. I mean, going into 2023, and obviously the Jays have made some moves in the outfield. There's going to be room for one or two guys to be brought in, free agents. Is there anybody on that list that's kind of a wish list that you'd like to play with? I mean, I can imagine you and Brandon Nimmo on the same team. I mean, with how hard he hustles and plays. But is there anything at this point that you say, that would be a good guy to get for, to replace one of the two outfielders they just lost?
I think we'll take whoever wants to come over and help us
Yeah.
win.
The passion.
Yeah, I mean, whoever wants to come over and wants to win a World Series is guys that we would love to have. So, I mean, no one in particular, but I know that there is some good guys out there, and if they want to come help us, we'll welcome them.
Well, you're a guy that kind of zoned in. I mean, I was going back looking at the draft when you were drafted in 2016, and you were picked 66 in the second round, and there's a lot of talk about you, wanting to zone in on the Jays, and you did get drafted by them, and there was kind of some reports out there that you were like even turning down some offers pre-draft, or not wanting to go to a different team. And were you focused on the Blue Jays at that point when the draft was ready to happen, or was that kind of one of your priority teams that you were hoping to be drafted by?
Yeah, I think it was more just there was obviously with my parents and my brother had gone through the process, you realize that it's not just about getting drafted as high as you can. Like, there is legitimately organizations who can help you grow a little bit better and teams that can't. And so, we didn't know much about the Blue Jays, but we knew that the front office had a good track record of developing talent. And then on top of that, the way that I hit, I saw Bautista and Donaldson and all those guys taking big leg kicks and big swings. And, we figured that if that was the case in the big leagues, that they wouldn't mess around with me too much in the minors. So, yeah, I mean, it was just kind of just looking at the situation and realize that it could be a good fit.
Yeah.
Good. Well, now, where were you going to go to college? Were you going to go to college?
I was Arizona State.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So actually, if I wasn't picked where I was gonna go to college.
Okay. Where'd your dad go to school? Did he go to college out there? Or?
Yeah, Jupiter Community College.
Oh, so he's a Florida boy then.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's cool. But hey, we did the right thing. I guarantee, and you know what? The Blue Jays did the right thing. I can guarantee you that. I mean, it's obvious, and you got a taste of that postseason. It's kind of tough the way it all ended. This year, with that final game, but that's baseball. There was like that most perfectly placed ball. I couldn't have walked out there, told somebody, and dropped it in a better spot in that no man's land. But like you said earlier, you guys got a taste of it now. You're only gonna get better and better. And now the key is for the front office to hold this team together and spend that money on you and Vladdy, and that's the game. I see that little smirk, man. That's
Lock them up.
That's the fact. We'll get it all started right here. But add those pieces that you need. And of course, Teo got traded to the Blue Jays when I was over there. And I tell you what, Bo, Teo had the easiest power I have ever seen in my life. He get that cam going. You kidding me? And then he struggled defensively, but then he worked at it. He got better, and he got much better, and became a really good player. And obviously, Seattle. I mean, it's a great pickup for them. And you guys added some bullpen depth. But when you look at it, we were talking earlier, when you watch Houston play at the end, right, to win it all. When you see that bullpen, man, you don't want to get into that bullpen. It's like, you talk about some firepower, It's like, so you guys added some new pieces down there, and I think that'll help you. You always got to work on that stuff. That's the one area you got to do every year.
Yeah, no, Teo. Like, everybody talks about Vladdy's power, and rightfully so, but Teo's right up there with them, and he makes it look easy. I mean, he was huge for us, the big homers in the playoffs, and we'll miss him for sure. But yeah, no, he's special for sure.
Dude, your power is right there with him too. Now, you know what you think about Vladdy? I can remember. Well, I watched his dad play. Right, his dad go up there swinging everything. Remember, he used to hit them balls that bounced. Right, and Vladdy, when he showed up, always had that great strike zone. But he was just a good hitter. Like you're a good hitter. You're not just one of those guys that can go up there and strike out 250 times and hit the home runs. I mean, that's kind of the way the game is a little bit now. But that's what separates you guys. But I can remember watching Vladdy Jr. just firing line drives out there, and that's what you do. Take the knocks the opposite field. That's what the great players do. I mean, you're tough to pitch to. You're tough. That's why you hit your 20 plus home runs and you score 100 runs and you drive in 100. That's another beef of mine, right? The baseball game world nowadays, they say RBIs don't matter, or they're it's, I don't know, what the word is, but that's crap. The number one job in this game is to score runs, right? If you're going to win, you got to score runs. You know what? Some guys can drive in runs. Some guys can't. I couldn't do it. I wasn't a very good hitter. And a lot of times it got right here, and then you worry about things. But some guys, there's something to it. And they say, well, it's a byproduct of these guys getting more opportunities. Yeah, certain guys in the middle lineup get more opportunities to do it. It doesn't make it any easier. But you know what? They slow the game down. They relax. They're confident, where the lesser guy, he can't do it, So anyway, so when I say a shortstop driving in 100 runs, that's Cal Ripken. I mean, that's very few guys can do that, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, my dad likes to look just how I was raised. Obviously, like when I look at production and how many runs do you score, how many hits do you get, how many extra base hits, like all the new school stuff is helpful for sure. But I mean, name of the game is getting runs across the board, and you got to hit to do that. So yeah, no, definitely on the same page with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of big games have been won by just a little cheap knock, little C&I ball up the middle or whatever it is. That it's not, because I guarantee you nothing good's going to happen when you're dragging that bat back to the dugout. But I will tell you this too: the guys in the game now, man. Does everybody throw 100 miles an hour?
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, I think it's gone down a little bit since the ban on the substances, but yeah, no, I mean, if you're facing a good bullpen, you've got, I mean, if the starter comes out in the fifth, you've got four guys to face that are throwing 100. So yeah, it's like that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I can remember as a kid coming up, if there was like one guy on the staff, like you face a guy and he's throwing like 93, 94, maybe 95 mile an hour, you're going, damn. Everybody goes, geez, who's this guy, right? Because everybody else, I think the average was like 89 to 92 or something like that. So that guy really stood out. So now these guys throwing 93, 94 miles an hour, they're like soft tossers. It's like, and that ain't easy, man. You got to, you know what? You got to pull that trigger, man. You got it. Guys, hitters nowadays, just athletes in general, you're bigger, stronger, and you're better. There's no doubt about it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I like your game because you know what? You'll take your hits the other way. You'll do that. You're not up there just, I might even go, if all I did was swing for a home run, I might hit 20 in a season. But you know what? That's not what the game is. Sometimes you're a complete player. And I'm tipping my hat to you because it's fun to watch. And it's good to see. Because your dad was a line drive hitter, if I remember right. He had a lot of line drives. He had a lot of line drive home runs, but he could throw out some line drives,
Yeah, he had a little bit more juice than me, but yeah, no, but I would say the biggest difference between, I mean, the bullpens now, like a couple years ago when the sticky stuff was at the height, you didn't want to get to the bullpen. And back in, I would say maybe even like 10 years ago, it was like you want to get the starter out because the best pitchers are the starters. And then, you've got your high leverage guys, but you want to get to the middle of that bullpen. I would say it's going back that way a little bit. But
yeah,
that was the biggest difference that I noticed is you always wanted to get the starter out. And then there was a couple years there where you did not want to, we would have conversations in the dugout, like we're hitting a guy, we're like, hey, don't hit him too good.
Yeah. we want to keep him in there. Oh, yeah. That's beautiful. Hey, how about your boy Manoah, man? I love him. The big bear, with the what was he saying about Cole with the Yanks? You don't have to comment on it, but it's like, so I anticipate some really good battles. I know you already have them with the Yankees, but they'll probably be really good in the near future, especially with those two tee up on the same day.
Yeah, he's got no fear for sure. I mean, fear plays a huge part in this game, and yeah, I mean, he's got what it takes to be special. He's already accomplished so much, but yeah, I mean, he's just a great guy to play behind. Like when he's on the mound, it's a different energy. But yeah, he's special for sure.
But you know what he's got? He's got what you got. Mentally tough, right, and confident. You got that heart in there. You're not going to accept defeat. You're going to grind it out. You're going to bust your butt on it. That's what separates you, and that's why you're better than most, right? So anyway, but
yeah,
we appreciate.
I think. Hold on, I think what is special about him is like he knows it's not going to be easy, even though it looks easy for him. He knows that he has to go out there and he has to compete at the highest level he possibly can, and whatever happens. But I think sometimes we get in trouble thinking it's going to be easy, and sometimes the game can punch you in the face a little bit. But yeah, he's competitive.
Bo, the game's got a way of humbling everybody, man.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why you never lose yet. That's why you're out there now. It's not even January. You're out there working, busting your butt, doing all what got you there. Hey, quick thing on Alex. To promote this show and this stuff. They say you got to get on social media, Instagram, and all that crap, right? So I'm on Instagram, and a couple of pictures came up of Alex, man. I don't know, he's at a basketball game or something. I don't know where he's buying his clothes at, man. But I thought, for crying out loud. He's like a fashion. Is he a fashion monger now too, or what?
Oh yeah, you know how it is. Every flight, he has something new, wants to look good. So I appreciate that about him, though.
Yeah. Hey, one last thing, we gotta let you go. Hey, how's old Schneid doing, man? He's a good one, and I'm glad they're bringing him back. You guys go way back. We're gonna try to get him on the show and let him nitpick you guys apart, see if we can find out any chinks on you guys, But good guy to play for. It always helps, doesn't it? It makes it nice when you get a guy that you had in the minor leagues gets to the big leagues with you.
Yeah, I mean, he worked hard to get there. We went through with him in the minors, and I know that this was something that was a huge goal of his. It's something that he always dreamed of, and so happy for him to get the job, and we'll just look to try and accomplish what we always talked about. So, it should be fun.
Well, good, man. Well, Johnny, you got anything else?
No, it was a pleasure meeting you and talking to you, and certainly wish you the best for 2023. And we'll be watching. I mean, you're an incredible ball player, and thank you for joining us today.
All righty, guys. Thank you for having me.
Plus, we got to let you go. You probably got round two of your working out to do, don't you? You've only done 2 hours. You're probably going to. Hey, I tip my hat to you, man. Keep it up, pal. We're proud of you. We love watching you play. You like I said, people go to watch you play, and we appreciate you taking some time to come on the show.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, good luck. And remember, if you need an agent, I don't know who you got now, but if he ain't doing the job, I see, because an agent's, when you get players like you, agents, it's easy money, man. What do they got to do? They don't have. So if you don't like this guy, give me a call.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Bo. Thanks, pal.
Right. Thank you, Bo.
Thank you.
Well, now it's time for another Ask Gibby segment brought to you by Budweiser. If we select your question here on the podcast, you will receive a gift package from Budweiser, because that's what buds do. John, we got a couple of good ones here for you today.
Good.
You ready for them?
Always ready. Hey, did you by any chance know? Are we starting to coordinate our attire now on the show?
I think
so. I got a blue.
Yeah, didn't I text you yesterday what I was going to be wearing, and we kind of figured
people thought they must think I was getting a little sloppy, but great minds think alike.
That is true. Well, let's go to the first question. This one comes from the Quig family, Niagara Falls, Ontario. Hey, John and John, huge fans of Gibby and the podcast. Can't wait for that book to come out. We have a quick question for Gibby. We were wondering, if you could have dinner with anyone in baseball, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Ooh. That's a great question. There's so many you wish you could choose. Gosh, I got to go with the Bambino, man. You know what? You think baseball, he revolutionized baseball. He
did.
Yeah, he was the king. He was like he was a giant figure. in the sport, not only what he did on the field, but in stature. I got to go with the Bambino. Plus I
Good
think
choice.
we enjoy the same kind of foods.
There you go.
He likes hot dogs
man.
and beer and all that
He had
stuff.
18 hot dogs in one sitting once. So love the Babe. Love everything about Babe Ruth and the Bambino. Nobody like him, and he did change the game. Let's go to the next question here. This is from J.P. Perron from Corbell, Ontario. Hey, Gibby, you seem so laid back and fun-loving, yet these serious, no-nonsense players like Vernon and Jose come on the show and praise you for motivation and player accountability. What am I missing? Are you a hard ass behind closed doors, a la Jekyll and Hyde?
What? Sybil. Don't call me Sybil. Hey, that's a good question. It is. Speaking of my mother again, my mother often tells me, well, not often, but she said, I don't get it. She says, you people, I'll think you're nice, calm, relaxed, laid back, doing all that. You go, I know the real you. You're churning inside you. You want to snap on somebody. Not always. Don't get me wrong, but she's. You know what? I don't have a dual personality. You know what? I'm a fun, easy, loving guy, but I grew up in my life and in athletics and all that. There's a right way and a wrong way you do things. You got to be accountable. I don't demand any more than anybody else, or I don't demand anything out of these guys what I wouldn't do myself. And if I got to tell you something more than once or twice, it's probably not my problem, right? It's probably not my fault. So that's what gets my dander up, And then I snap a little bit sometimes on umpires when, and that's defending these guys who I admire and appreciate what they're doing for me and the team and the community, So, and sometimes you just have bad days,
Yeah, I mean, but you're totally respected by all the players. They love coming on the show. You've had an enormous amount of wonderful guests here. And hey, listen, everybody has those days. But it was a great question, and they're going to get one of those. They can have one of those Budweiser gift packs, courtesy of Budweiser, because that's what Buds do. And if
real quick, remember Joe Charbonneau used to maybe should I get a Bud bottle and break it off of my bike?
Yeah, exactly.
People probably. I hope people listen. Yeah, you think everybody listening knows who Joe Charbonneau was? He was Rookie of the Year with Cleveland, wasn't he? But he chewed things off with his teeth.
He was a character. He was one of those
street fighter
guys that still talked about today. And Joe Charbonneau.
So let me get a Bud can and chew on it, and then that'll bring out my personality.
There you go. We'll do that next week, John. And if you want to ask Gibby a question, have a chance to receive that Budweiser gift package, just send your questions to us at AskGibbyShow@gmail.com or the Twitter hashtag AskGibby. That's going to about wrap up another edition, post-Thanksgiving show. Now we enter the holiday season. And, John, another wonderful show here today.
Johnny enjoyed that. Let's go get some leftovers, pal.
Let's go eat some leftovers. We'll have a little turkey, a little stuffing, a little cranberry sauce. And
hey, you got some kind of tradition. You got some kind of Italian tradition where you eat a bunch of fish or something. Or is that a New York tradition?
That's a Christmas Eve thing. It's called the Feast of the Seven Fishes. And you have to eat it or else you have bad luck for the following year. So I'm
going to go get some catfish.
There you go.
Sure
we have octopus and squid. And forget about what we have for Christmas Eve. But anyway, that's not my favorite part of the holiday. It's the giving and, of course, being with your family.
Of course, but you can always go. You can go down to the East River and catch your dinner.
Yeah, well, there's plenty in there, I'm sure. Let's go about wrap up this edition of the Gibby Show. For John Gibbons, my name is John Arezzi. Don't forget to follow John. And it's on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere else. He's out there. That is at John Gibbons 05. And follow me at John Arezzi. Until next week when we talk more baseball with you. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See ya.